So in today's video, I'll be talking about a potential mock trade that could send Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Golden State Warriors this 2021 NBA offseason. And the two main reasons that I'm making this video would be, number one, the recent rumors swirling about Jaren Jackson Jr. and the Grizzlies not being sold on him given his injury concerns. And the reason number two to this video being made would also be his amazing fit on the Golden State Warriors roster. But with all of that being said, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video to show your support to the channel, and if you want me to make more videos like these, and also hit that notification bell button not to miss out on more awesome NBA content. And with that all out of the way, now let's get into the full video. So according to Mark Berman of the New York Post, the Memphis Grizzlies are not yet sold on Jaren Jackson Jr. as their long-term answer at center. And I don't know if I should believe this report by Mark Berman, so I'm gonna leave this question below for you guys if it's believable or not, especially with Berman's false reports recently. But let's just say this were to be real, this could definitely be an intriguing trade option for the Golden State Warriors in the near future. And guess what? A potential starting five of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Jaren Jackson Jr. could actually work out to be a legitimate and real starting five. So with all of that being said, now let's get into the actual mock trade. So in this mock trade, the Golden State Warriors would simply receive Jaren Jackson Jr. as the Memphis Grizzlies would receive James Wiseman in return. So first, let's talk about the Golden State Warriors side of this deal. So in this blockbuster mock trade, the Golden State Warriors would clearly receive a big and significant upgrade at the center position over James Wiseman, as in his few games that he played with the Grizzlies so far this season, Jaren Jackson Jr. has averaged about 16 points per game, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and about 2 blocks per game, while shooting about 43% from the field and 85% from the free throw line. And at only 21 years old, Jaren Jackson Jr. is a naturally gifted player with his body and his athleticism, and can also space the floor at a high level, while also being able to create his own shot as a power forward slash center. So he could definitely be a great fit for the Warriors in terms of the spacing, but most importantly the defensive side of the court where he's best at. With his great athleticism and his body, he blocks a ton of shots and gets a ton of steals every game. And the Warriors' biggest need right now is a big man that could space the floor and play great defense. And with Jackson Jr., he's able to do all of that and also being able to create his own shot. And the contract situation matches well with both teams since both players are earning similar amounts of money. And of course, both players are extremely young given James Wiseman's 20-year-old age and also Jaren Jackson Jr.'s 21-year-old age, just being 1 year older than him. But with that being said, both players are actually already injury prone in their early careers, so that is already a risk for both sides. But this is kind of a high risk, high reward type of move for both teams, because it is possible that they can be injury prone later in their careers as well. But for the Warriors, giving up James Wiseman for Jaren Jackson Jr. is potentially a great move for the team, for the future, and for the short-term success with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. But if I would be the Warriors organization, I would definitely go for this move if Jaren Jackson Jr. was somehow able to be seriously traded. And James Wiseman clearly has a very high potential in the NBA since he has all of the physical tools to make that happen. But clearly for the Golden State Warriors, they're not trying to do that right now, as they're not trying to develop any young players right now since they're trying to win a championship and many more to come. And if they want Stephen Curry to stay with the big three of Steph, Klay, and Draymond, they'll have to make a trade like this to make it happen. And just imagine a starting five of Steph, Klay, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and also Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, that is a very elite team if you would ask me. And literally all their 5 starters would be great on the defensive end of the court. They would have great size and athleticism as well as shooting, scoring, and defense, which is essentially what they need to actually make a championship run once again. But with that all being said, as into any trade, there's also a part 2 and a second side to that trade, which is in this case the Memphis Grizzlies side. So therefore, now let's get into the Memphis Grizzlies side of this trade. So in this trade, of course, the Grizzlies get James Wiseman to pair up with Ja Morant and with all the other young players that they have in Memphis. But the main reason that I believe that this would be a good trade for the Memphis Grizzlies if they were to actually trade and move on from Jaren Jackson Jr. would be because of James Wiseman's huge potential both sides of the court, as he's currently averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, and about a block per game while shooting 52% from the field. So that is a pretty good start for his rookie season, especially with him already shooting over 30% from 3 with his big size. But the main reason that I see this being a great potential reward type of trade for the Memphis Grizzlies would be for the simple fact that they will be able to develop James Wiseman properly, especially with them being a full rebuilding team right now, and they're clearly going to wait for the long run and try to develop all their young players properly right now. And if they're really scared of Jaren Jackson Jr.'s injury concerns, they're definitely going to be able to get James Wiseman from this trade. And with a potential starting 5 of Ja Morant, Grayson Allen, Dillon Brooks, Brandon Clark, and James Wiseman, the Grizzlies would be one of the most fun young teams to watch in the NBA. And this would clearly be a great team down the line that would definitely be able to make deep runs in the playoffs in the years to come, especially with a superstar in Ja Morant that's already established, and upcoming young players like Dillon Brooks and Grayson Allen, as well as Brandon Clark. The Grizzlies would benefit a ton from James Wiseman as well. Both of his potential on the defensive end of the court and offense, he could easily turn out to be one of the best trade moves that they actually made in their long-term future. But again, I don't see this happening if Jaren Jackson Jr. maintains to stay healthy for at least another season, which I believe he will be able to maintain to do so. But with all of that being said, let me know in the comments down below, which team do you think would ultimately result into winning this trade for the long-term future? And of course, I'd probably go with the Golden State Warriors with winning it for the short-term future, with Jaren Jackson Jr.'s scoring ability and defensive upside. But again, this trade is not expected to happen this offseason or any offseason close to this one. But with these recent reports swirling around Jaren Jackson Jr.'s name, I definitely say to give it a try and see if it would actually gain some traction. And of course, this trade is without any picks involved, so I don't know if this will be actually the trade proposal that the Warriors could make or the Grizzlies could make, because I believe that this trade would be too risky for both teams to actually be able to do this if it were to actually be without any picks being involved. But if there are any picks to be involved, I'm definitely sure that this trade is definitely in the potential possibilities of happening, only if it's from a report if Woj or Shams actually reports that there actually is interest in trading for Jaren Jackson. But with all of that being said, let me know if you guys did enjoy this video, and like this video if you guys did, and also smash that subscribe button. But with that all being said, it's been KNYT here, and I'm out. Peace.